Hi guys and welcome to episode 35 of Beat to the Punch. I'm joined on the line for this Christmas special by Riku Highkiller and Brendan Galuli. Riku, how's things?
Good. I'm in cold Finland, but I think it's actually cold in New York where Brendan is.
Yeah, Brendan's sitting there feeling a bit fragile today. How's the hangover, Brendan?
It's not too bad. I just got up, so I'll probably be fine in like half an hour. It's fucking cold here, though. It is fucking freezing.
Yeah, it's actually got quite mild in Scotland. It was freezing at the start of the week, and then it's like jumped back up to like 10 degrees, man. It's mad. It's just fucking global warming's amazing, man. What was I going to say, Brendan? We were going to start off with the card in MSG last week. You were at the card, so you as well talking us through this. So let's start off with like the event itself. How was it?
I did. I had a good time. It wasn't as full as I thought it was going to be. There was a lot of empty seats, unfortunately. But, you know, it's a tough time of year to be having the card in New York. It's not exactly a cheap time of year to come fucking visit over here. But it was a good atmosphere, and I had a good time.
Yeah. What was the problems you had trying to get home? I woke up to a few texts.
Some asshole on the train, or the railroad I take is delayed, and they're taking like the subway, and it was a little damper on the evening. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's it. It happens, man. So your man Teofimo Lopez dispatched Richard Commey inside 2 rounds. It was. It wasn't on for a long time, this fight, but I mean Lopez kind of squeezed in a bit of everything into such a short period of time.
Yeah, no, he looked great, especially like the crowd was dead too after the Conlon fight. It's like just what the building needed, you know.
Yeah.
It was, you're right. He boxed, he moved, he drilled him with power, and full showcase in 2 rounds.
Yeah, man, and I mean Richard Commey is a respected champion. You know, he's a legit guy, and I mean, in inside 2 rounds, we're seeing shoulder rolls. You know, we're seeing wee check hooks, we're seeing wee short left hooks. You know, it was. I mean, what Teofimo Lopez squeezed into such a short period of time, it was brilliant to watch. Riku, this lad's kind of got the full package, do you think?
Yeah, I think he came under criticism, I think it was a couple of performances ago, because it wasn't just dispatching of guys, but, I mean, dispatching of Richard Commey, who's one of the toughest guys in boxing, and also a champion that didn't come there to hand over his belts and by no ways would have been afraid of Lopez is very impressive from the young man. So, you can't really argue that he's going to be one of the next superstars in boxing, and he's an exciting guy to watch as well.
I mean, what kind of surprised me is there was a lot of people in the UK that still seem to be, they were slightly more on Lopez. And, I heard that, I listened to a lot of podcasts, and most people were picking Commey to win, which I thought was quite strange. Now, I know that he's the older guy, and he totally beat Lopez with experience, but I mean Lopez just seemed to know every trick that Commey had. He knew exactly how to counter it, and it wasn't like he was sitting trying to figure them out. As soon as Commey made the mistakes, he pounced on them right away. I mean, it was quite a brave performance for Lopez, wasn't it, Brendan? He didn't try and get rounds in the bank and then Brett Commey down. He went in there with the intent of getting him out quick.
Yeah, no, he saw the hold when he took him. He was he looked like a bad man that night, I think a lot of people don't seem to like him for some reason. I don't know if he does those fucking front flips or back flips or whatever, but I don't know. He seems like a nice enough kid to me, and I don't know. I thought it was just a spectacular performance.
I think a lot of people are critical about the new wave of boxers. I mean, these guys like Teofimo Lopez, who does the Fortnite dance, or Ryan Garcia, and these guys, I think they just put the nose out of joint for hardcore boxing fans and old bastards like us that just probably are a bit older than these guys. And I think by the proxy of that, if you just remove the out-of-ring persona, you look at them in the ring, there's nothing they can be critical about.
Yeah, that is exactly it. And I actually love kids like this. I love kids that have got in the mouth but are determined that they will back it up. He's not just like he's not like a Jamal Charlo who'll try and do the talk, but when it actually comes down to, when he goes into the ring, he doesn't try and put it into effect. You know, he goes back into like, you know, this boxer. I mean, Teofimo Lopez was saying, I'm going to knock this guy out. He's like, get your money in the 6th round. Now, he's even shot past what he thought he could do himself, you know what I mean? This kid went in there knowing that what he was going to do, and he was fully confident that he could do it. And I mean, I think that he's got the beating of Lomachenko. Right, I'll say it, fuck it. I think he's got the beating of Lomachenko. Where do you stand on that, Brendan?
I disagree. I mean, I know why he wants to fight. It's going to be a big money fight, and I just don't see it. I think Lomachenko's just too good. It's too technical. He's not going to get hit. He's not going to make the mistakes that a Richard Commey would make.
Sorry, mate. There you go.
Yeah, no, I just don't. I don't see it. I just don't. I like Teofimo Lopez too, but I don't know if it's too early. And he's a young guy. I'm not sure why you'd want to take that fight, but maybe it's his last fight at lightweight because he seems very like thick for that weight. So, you know, I guess if he'd lost, it wouldn't be the end of the world moving up to 140.
Well, that there is exactly why I think he'll beat Lomachenko. I mean, Lomachenko was seen against Jorge Linares, made that mistake, fell into Linares' trap, and Linares laid him out on the floor. Now, you give Teofimo Lopez that shot, you might not be getting back up for it, or you might not be recovering for it. And I think that when we watched Lomachenko against Linares, and we've watched him against Campbell, he's not the same fighter with these bigger guys. I don't think anyway. I think that he's stretching himself too much to get these bigger, to get the bigger fights, to get an actual fight, really. And I think he puts himself at a bit of a disadvantage. And I think against somebody like Lopez, that it would be just too much. What were you saying to that, Riku?
Yeah, I agree. I think Lopez has to be perfect, not perfect, but probably go up a gear and just be consistent for 12 rounds to win that fight. But I do think the size difference, I mean, Lopez is big at his current weight anyway, so he's probably going to end up moving up. And just the experience he's gained, I think he is the type of fighter that would cause Lomachenko a lot of problems. And partly because Lomachenko, due to his age and the amount of fights he's had in his career, amateur and professional, you can't expect him to be the same guy he necessarily was 2 or 3 years ago. So I think maybe it's the right time to catch him out at that weight class. And I think that's sort of what Bob's planning on, to catch out Lomachenko and then let him go down the weight classes where he'll still be a good operator.
Yeah, but that's what I think that Lomachenko, and I don't think people touch on this enough, is how big a disadvantage Lomachenko puts himself to come up and get these fights. I don't think he gets enough credit for it. He's gained up so much in there, and he's trying to equalise it just on pure boxing skill. Eventually you come across somebody and you'll realise why there is weight divisions. Do you know what I mean? Somebody will just be too strong, they'll be too powerful. I mean, we've seen it with Salido. I know it was only in Loma's second fight, but you know, look, Salido he came in, he totally missed the weight, didn't even fucking try for the weight, but he came in there and just looked to fucking bully Loma. And I think that kind of, I don't think Lopez would fight like that, but I think it's that kind of thing where size does matter eventually. Size will go past skill eventually at some point, do you know what I mean? Especially when Lopez is very skilled himself. When do you think that fight could happen, Brendan? If they says anything about that, because I know that they're chasing it.
Looks like April. They're saying April. I don't know where.
Fuck, but, man, that's a quick turnaround, that, isn't it?
I don't. But you figure Loma will be out since when did we see him? We saw him August 31st. So, I mean, I think for a fighter like Lopez, that turnaround isn't that big a deal, especially when you're this young in your career.
Yeah,
especially a guy like him.
He's just took Commey out in 2 rounds, hasn't he? So, I mean, it's not as if he was in a fight it's took a lot out of him.
I think he's a guy, too, he seems to, live the life. You know, he's not outside fucking around. He's not, I think he's just always working in the gym, and he's always relatively close to his weight and stays in shape. I don't think he's, he's married, lives with his parents still. I think he, lives like a fighter's life, the way you're supposed to.
Is his father his trainer?
I I think he's still in the corner, but I think we're working with somebody else as well.
Yeah,
he made adjustments in his camp, he'd said, and obviously whatever they did seemed to work.
Yeah, I think he fell. I think there was a bit of a family dramas, and his father was, his father was maybe dropped down to become in the corner, but not the trainer. I know his mom used to be his nutritionist, and she was ousted, and he's bought a proper nutritional team. So, and I also think there's all sorts of things like his family don't like his girlfriend, and there's a big piece about that I read a while ago. But yeah, I think it's a classic example of having that family involvement in boxing is not always a good thing, and I think that might have taken a toll in the last camp, and perhaps with a new setup and maybe a more professionalized, nutritionist and everything else, he can stay at that weight for a bit longer, and maybe that will help his career.
You're right. I mean, I did hear it on the commentary. I'm saying about Teofimo Lopez says himself, his last performance wasn't the best because everything was disjointed. He says, and there was a lot of infighting in the family, which must mean they're in the camp for the family all work there. But you know what, man? I have got a lot of time for somebody that can sack their ma. I mean, that is fucking ballsy. How can you sack your mum? I mean, that guy should go down in history for that. That's fucking amazing.
I mean, he's got to do what's best for his career, and I think often family involvement in this sport doesn't work. Especially, they seem like a close family, so you can't just have them. You can't have your family doing everything with you. You go fucking bananas. I could see why you'd be like, you mentioned your mom was going to work with you every day.
I'm telling you what to eat.
To fucking smash my head off a wall. His mom might be a nutritionist, but she's probably not like a sports nutritionist. Someone who knows the science of weight cutting and
Yeah, and especially something like weight nutrition. I mean, I mean, sports nutrition stays. It changes every year. It's like there's some fucking different thing happening every year. It's never like a constant. If you know what I mean.
She would be good for like someone like me. Like, don't eat that cheeseburger, you fat bastard. You don't go have a salad. I'd be a perfect client.
But I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? The weight was a big issue for Teofimo Lopez his last few camps. So if he made the weight easier, maybe these are the kind of performances we can expect. And he's still such a young guy that he shouldn't be moving up the weight classes he shouldn't necessarily be moving up the weight classes rapidly because he's losing some of the advantage for his height and size anyways.
I've got to admit that, I mean, that punch, the way he sucked Commey in, made him reach too far and walked him right on to a punch, it was perfect, it's one of the bits in boxing when it comes off, it's like, it's so photogenic and it's so, and I mean, the power he must have, because Commey got up, man, and fair play to Commey for getting up, but he really didn't know where he was. He did that wee kind of somersault, and then he got up and he was staggering about. It looked as if he'd like one too many Coronas, and then it's like kind of, it goes like to Commey, like, well done for getting up, you know what I mean? Because that shot was solid, but this is not going to end very well for you. But what was the reaction in the arena, Brendan, when that shot landed? Because it
was loud. Everyone was like, I'm sure everyone except the poor Richard Commey supporters were going pretty nuts.
Oh,
people
man.
were on their feet, so it was good. It was a good atmosphere for that fight.
Yeah. If anybody got anything else to say about this fight before we move on to Crawford Kavlauskas?
No, I enjoyed it. It was great. Just what I needed after 10 rounds of snoozing before.
Well, do you know what? I stayed up. I stayed up quite late, and I was like, right, well, at least I've got it on. My friend on Ep35 went away and got me an ESPN thing and put it onto my screen. So I was like, oh, this is great. And then the Michael Conlan fight came on, and I fell asleep and fucking woke up at 6:30 in the morning on the couch. I was like, oh man, I was like, Mick Conlan should be a floating fight from now on. Wait till the main event's done. Let me see what I want to see, and then put Mick on. I was raging. Terrence Crawford versus the Mean Machine Kavlauskas. Terrence Crawford deciding to put on a bit of a show for the fans this time, but it almost cost him, didn't it, Brendan?
I don't know. He was. I felt like he was the first couple rounds. He was fighting like a little lazy for him. Maybe it's the quality of the opponent. Maybe it's the frustration. And then he got caught, and then he was just turned into like a mean, vicious fucking bastard. He was just rifling him with those fucking jabs. You could see how annoyed he was with the way he was fucking firing jabs and just beating the piss out of him after that.
What about, was it the third round? Was that a knockdown?
Yeah, I thought it was clearly a knockdown, especially when they showed the replay. There was no slip there. He got him right on the button. People were making a big deal of it on the internet, but everyone could get caught. It's not like he's got a bad chin or anything. He got right back up. So
yeah, Riku. Terrence Crawford kind of has this thing because he can box on the outside and he can box on the inside. People think that he's a defensive fighter, but we've seen before that Terrence Crawford is there to be hit. It's how he reacts to being hit that makes him special. But do you think that we learned anything new about Crawford, or do you think that we're maybe seeing him becoming a frustrated fighter and he's taking risks in the ring to maybe win in fans, or get a bit of the momentum built back up?
Yeah, I think possibly, but it's always hard to say when a fighter isn't when they know they levels above their opposition. So I think he would box a completely different game plan against someone like Spence or Porter or Thurman. But it's partly because he doesn't have much respect for these guys. He knows they can't hurt him once he's taken their power, and he thinks if he puts together highlight reel knockouts and he showcases his talents, that's the only way for his value to go up, because the moment he has a bad performance, he can be categorically ruled out from fighting any of the PBC guys. So he's in a very tricky position because he has to perform every time, and sometimes that involves taking unnecessary risks. But I've always thought he's quite an aggressive fighter, because if you think about that Indongo fight and some of the other fights he had at 140, he beat guys in brutal fashion. And I think once he realizes that he has the upper hand against you, and once he realizes that he can outskill you, he's pretty brutal at finishing guys. And I think that's the exciting thing about Bud Crawford, is that he's one of the most clinical finishers in the sport.
Are we seeing him phasing out the switch hitting, because he doesn't seem to do it as much anymore, and he's probably the best in boxing at doing it? But he doesn't really switch as much anymore. He used to do it quite often.
Well, he did in calm fight, didn't he? But I think the switch hitting works against specific types of opponents, and it's just a tool in the arsenal. If he can get better results boxing orthodox or just southpaw for the fight, there's no reason to switch hit, because switch hitting only works if you're confusing your opposition, or if you want to try and nullify something they're doing. So I don't feel that it's something that you need to do unless there's a big advantage of doing it.
Yeah. Brendan, what was the atmosphere for Bud Crawford?
It was good. He had a decent amount of people come. His fan base travels pretty well. I'd say there was probably 5,000-6,000 Nebraskers, Cornhuskers they call themselves. But yeah, there was a bunch of his fans there. But like I said, when he fought Khan, there was a much bigger crowd. It was almost like a sellout, but it wasn't close to that this fight. But that's it's a danger of putting a fight 10 days before Christmas in New York, where your fan base has to travel halfway across the country.
Do you think that's something that Bob Arum and that's going to have to try and be a bit wiser? I know they've got all these TV dates to fill, but maybe take one of your guys that's a bigger draw, or build a card for people from New York and put it there if you're going to do it at Christmas. Because as Bud Crawford, it doesn't look great for a fighter when there is a load of empty seats in the arena, but it's, as you say, there's other circumstances you've got to think about that surround it.
There's a fight tomorrow at Barclays. I think they'd be lucky to have 5,000 people there, but it looks bad on TV, but I thought it was a decent crowd for the time of year and what it is. I think he tried. He put Conlon on. There's a large Irish population here. Put on Teofimo Lopez. They want to grow as even though he's American, they're trying to make him like the next big Puerto Rican fighter. We have a big Puerto Rican population. And then you hope Terrence gets a bunch of people to travel, or you hope he's just good enough where people want to go. But I don't think I know how expensive it is in December here, so I think that's a big factor for people traveling.
Yeah, man, and I mean, as you say, the cold as well. If you're saying it's as cold as what you're saying it is over there, and the boxing's on the TV,
Yeah.
you're not
No,
going to
actually,
go.
Saturday it was about 30 fucking degrees warmer.
Was
Yeah.
Well, we got a question last week for North Bank Bren, and I kept it back for last week because it would suit you more, Riku. And what I was saying is, in the UK now, we're getting Fight TV, which I nearly actually subscribed to, so I could watch the Teofimo Lopez fight. But they were wanting like £15 one-off payment for pay-per-view or a subscription to Top Rank, which is like $5.99 if you subscribe to Top Rank. But I mean, Bren was asking, he's like, with all these like streaming services, your MTKs on YouTube, Amazon Prime now taking a step into the sports streaming service, where does this leave BT and Sky in the next 12 months?
I think the reason why perhaps these have popped up is because BT and Sky haven't been as active in buying foreign cards. So you guys all remember a few years ago, most of the PBC and Top Rank shows were always on Sky, or on Box Nation at the very least. What's happened over the last few years is that we've seen a lot of good cards the rights haven't been sold to UK providers. So that gives an opportunity for guys to set up streaming services where they buy the rights relatively cheap and then sell them off. And part of it's because I think the strategy for both has changed. So the strategy for Sky has become more focused on getting the Matchroom US cards as their US content, and in the UK having the Matchroom cards and now the MTK Golden Contract cards. And then on BT, I think we're still waiting for that big Frank Warren announcement, aren't we? Which he said a few weeks ago was coming. My hunch would be that probably meant that they're going to start showing Top Rank cards. But we'll see what happens. I think what's really happened is there's so much boxing content because everybody has money, whether it's DAZN, ESPN, Sky, BT, that nobody has the money to buy all of this or consolidate all of this because there isn't actually a market to have all of this. Even if you set up a boxing channel that showed all the boxing in the UK and charged 30 quid a month for it, it just wouldn't make enough money. So a lot of things are just popping up here and there, buying things opportunistically, hoping to get some money out of these cards that Sky and BT aren't buying. At least that's my take on it. What do you guys think?
Well, I thought that BT already had a deal with Top Rank. I'm not sure. I thought that they did. I thought that BT already had signed a deal. Frank had came to a deal with Top Rank to show their cards over here, but obviously that's not the case. But I mean, when I seen Fight TV actually charging Top Rank subscriptions, you can, and don't get me wrong, if you get the subscription, you only get the Top Rank cards. If Fight TV get another card for another promoter, you still need to go and pay the pay-per-view, which I thought is a bit of a fucking crazy system, that. But I mean, I think that you're right. I think that there's maybe just the supply and demand's a wee bit off tilt now because you've got so many cards on every week. You've got so many platforms, and there's not really a lot of boxing fans out there. You know, if you've got 3 cards on in the same night, boxing fans are only going to really watch one of them. You know, they're going to pick the best one and stick with it, or stuff like that. So I think that there's definitely far too much boxing out there just now, and the quality has not been the best. Don't get me wrong, that card there at the weekend was a card that I was actually willing to go and pay for. I'm glad I actually didn't have to at the end up because I fell asleep, but I was willing to go and pay for that. But I mean, the fact that you had Lopez and Commey and Bud Crawford fighting and BT and Sky didn't think to pick it up means that, I mean, I don't know what where their future lies in boxing. I don't know if they think that it's worthwhile, unless it's Matchroom, unless it's somebody that they can get their build for a pay-per-view star. I don't think that they want to be in boxing much longer. That's how I see it.
I think, why would they invest in Top Rank card? Because they have so much Matchroom, MTK. and World Boxing Super Series content. So showing these top ranked cards. Remember when a few years ago when was it Canelo against Triple G? That went on BT, and that was sort of the last minute, a week before the fight. It was sold because Sky didn't want it. I think what they figured out is that the market for watching these US cards is so low. And also the people that tend to watch them are the types of people that they're the ones that will stream. So I don't see, from a Sky or BT perspective, if you're putting this card up in the middle of the night, you're probably lucky to get 50,000 viewers, and also people won't be signing to Sky and BT just to watch those cards because that model didn't work for Box Nation.
Are we in the verge of seeing platform TVs, platform sports channels becoming a thing of the past? Because as I said, we've seen Amazon Prime for December of took on the English Premiership, where you can select what game you want to watch. We've already seen like MTK moving on to YouTube, taking their cards, and their cards is probably the cards MTK have got on YouTube are probably better than what Sky are putting on just now.
True.
And then our international fights are going to things like Fight TV. Even though that would have been a fight that was on Box Nation, but as you say, that experiment's failed. So I think that we could be in the verge of seeing this. We've always said that it's coming. I think that's it starting. I think this is the year that it's going to start. 2020 is going to be the year where we're going to see like a bit more of our sports switching across. And I don't see Sky and BT making any steps to say that they're going to have a future in it. I don't know where it leaves them.
Well, I don't know. If you think about MTK, they market a product, the Golden Contract, that's on Sky. They also sell their rights to ESPN Plus in the US. So the same shows that you get on YouTube. I don't really know who in the US wants to watch MTK shows. Maybe Brendan. But the top fighters will always be on the big broadcasters. What I don't envisage seeing is that some of the next-gen type cards will be on TV and stuff. So I wouldn't be... Do you remember when Matchroom had Matchroom Fan Pass?
Yeah.
Years ago.
Fight Pass, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that was meant to have stuff like the next-gen cards. So what we might see is that promoters or, management companies might start doing similar, fight TV type arrangements where we probably have less boxing on TV, but more, the top level boxing still stays on TV. So the World Championship fights, the pay-per-view cards. But from a Sky and BT perspective, there isn't much upside investing a lot of money on these cards where, not many people are watching them. Like yesterday's Next Gen show, I would say only a handful of people would be watching this, the hardcore boxing fans. But it does nothing for Sky, does it?
No, exactly. I had another point to bring up to you there, but it's just completely slipped my mind. That was it. If you think of the decline in the last 2 or 3 years on the size of shows that we're getting, it's quite obvious that Sky they're pulling out of the Saturday fight night business. I mean, you used to get Kell Brook, you had Crowler, Linares, you had, you used to have like these guys who weren't the pay-per-view fighters, but they could put them in good fight. Kevin Mitchell, Ricky Burns, used to have these guys on fighting in big shows, and and that was a regular thing, probably once a month, sometimes twice a month. Now it's like it's small hall events that we're getting. It's no big arena events that we see anymore.
I think a lot of that's to do with also Eddie putting his fucking fighters all over the place too. You got guys who can headline shows fighting third on a card in Arizona here. But,
that's exactly.
They had that big with the Newcastle card. That fucking arena looked packed, and it was a good card. That's what you expect from like a Sky Saturday Night Boxing, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean that's probably the only one that apart that one and the Luke Campbell Lomachenko, was that on Sky or was that pay-per-view?
Pay-per-view.
Was that pay-per-view? Fucking hell. Fuck,
Yeah.
man.
Well, I think it's the DAZN knock-on effect. So Eddie's got this big pot of money in the US from DAZN, and he's got the smaller pot from Sky. And a fighter's given options. Do you want to fight at the US card and make twice the money, or do you want to fight in the UK card in your hometown? And most fighters would obviously want to go and fight in the US. Also, we've had a lot of guys retire, like Groves, DeGale, Lofty's, Ricky Burns has, dropped down from world level, as has Crawler and so forth. So, there isn't the amount of talent there. One, and two is that there's a lot more money to be made elsewhere, which means that there isn't just an opportunity to put those cards on because Eddie doesn't have enough fighters.
Yeah, and we heard that thing for Eddie about the changing of the guard. Well, the guard wasn't changing because the older guys that were getting out were at a certain level, and the new guys that are coming in, your Ted Cheesemans and that, they were never going to get to that level. The one you can't have somebody like, you're never going to say that Ted Cheeseman's going to be like an Anthony Crawler, or I don't think anybody would, or you're never going to say like John Ryder is going to be the next fucking, I don't know, Kell Brook. You can't, like star power. These guys kind of had a better draw.
But we had 11 world champions a few years ago.
Was it not 13?
That was, now we probably have 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
That was sort of the height of British boxing, 11 world champions.
Yeah, but even that was quite fake. I mean, how many of the titles were actually won off a proper champions? It was all manufactured.
Yeah, but, it's still draw, isn't it? They are still draws, aren't they? And you can get opposition. You think about this card in Sheffield, the Kell Brook fight against a guy that I've never heard of, Kid Galahad in the final eliminator, Dave Allen. It's not those kind of cards just 3-4 years ago. Those kind of cards just wouldn't have been made. You would always have a world title fight in one of those, even if it is for Bacon one.
Yeah. Let's move on to some news now. The big news this week was Tyson Fury is split for Ben Davidson. Brendan, this one came as a wee bit of a shock to me. What about you?
I definitely didn't see it coming, or I did. That being said, like, he doesn't look great, but against the bums he's been fighting over here, maybe that had something to do with it, or maybe felt like he needed time for a change. Very close to the the rematch too. So it's a little surprising, but and I was surprised with this choice of people too. Sugar Hill and Andy Lee. He didn't exactly go reach in the pot. I thought when I heard he was leaving, I figured he just let Freddie Roach take over.
Yeah, I had a feeling he was going to go with Roach as well. And I mean, Sugar Hill, famous for the Kronk Gym, but Tyson Fury couldn't be any further for a Kronk Gym kind of fighter, if you ask me. You think about your heavyweight fighters that's fought there, your Lennox Lewis's and that. These guys are all fucking bangers. Tyson Fury doesn't fight like that. Do you think that Sugar Hill, I'm not saying that, fucking Sugar Hill is going to know everything about boxing. I mean, he's worked with fucking the best boxing trainer in history, probably. But do you think that it's his Tyson Fury's style is going to be compatible with how he trains?
I think at this point in his career, Fury kind of, I don't want to say like trains himself, but he fights the way he fights, and I have no idea. I have no idea how it's going to work out. I really don't. I have no clue.
Riku, you might be able to shine some light on this. Is the split purely geographical, or is Fury maybe trying to mix it up for this Wilder fight?
I don't know, to be honest. The only thing I know is that Fury's changed trainers quite a few times. I mean, he had Big John Fury, his dad. He's had Hugh Fury, his uncle, who's passed away. He had Peter Fury. Now he's had Ben Davidson. I think you can look at this two ways. Fury either needs somebody that just gets them in shape, and he does whatever he does. I mean, he's not going to learn anything new, is he? And he's not going to change his style at this point. He's not going to go with a trainer that's going to change his style either. And I also think with Sugar Hill, he's trained in the Kong setup before, and he's met with Manny Stewart and trained there. Manny Stewart's nephew, Sugar Hill, he's trained guys like Adonis Stevenson, Ruslan Chagayev. I think there's a few other guys that John David Jackson, for example. So he's trained quite a different styles, and that's what good trainers should be able to do: train guys with various different styles. I think all that he needs is a base in the US, so he doesn't have to work out his wild card or what's the other one he worked up in Big Bear. So now he has a base in the US, and then on top of that, he will also. He'll have a US trainer that knows all the rules, is able to get him good sparring, able to set up camp there because it seems like he's moved there until the foreseeable future. So I think it probably worked from Tyson Fury's perspective. I'm not sure how well it worked from Ben Davidson's perspective. What's peculiar is that Benito Saunders also left Ben Davidson a couple of months ago.
So he's left Ben Davidson. He no long went to Ben Davidson. I didn't know.
He went to back to the Ingle gym, didn't he?
Did he go back to the Ingle gym? Because I seen a few people.
He needed some PEDs, so he had to back over.
Yeah, the weight was coming back on. He needed to get back over for some of these steroid Vicks.
But maybe Ben Davison pushed Tyson Fury really hard, and that meant that maybe he didn't like that kind of training style, or maybe he felt that Ben Davidson was great for that period of time when he was coming back and losing weight, but maybe he thought that he needs somebody else to either get him to the next level or keep him engaged. To me, he always seems like a guy that, unless he's very interested in learning new stuff, he's just not interested in boxing. And working with a trainer for a few years, maybe he feels like he has to change to keep himself interested.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the end of Ben Davison. It's obviously you lose two big marquee clients. It's going to be back to teaching boxercise at the gym. I don't think he has any other real fighters.
I don't know whether he has Isaac Lowe still or not, but I mean that's Tyson's cousin, so that will be interesting to see. But I don't think I think Ben Davidson by no means is a bad young trainer. So hopefully people don't read into it that he's a bad trainer. I hope that somebody gives it a chance, because it's often, in boxing we see that a lot of people write off trainers. Like, was it Manny Robles a while ago? Everybody left him apart from Andy Ruiz, and next thing you know, he topples Joshua and everybody's hailing him a genius. And now some people have been critical about him. So, yeah, I think trainer and fighter relationships are particularly at best in boxing.
Oh yeah, for sure. So a lot of times you're the first guy to get the axe. When you take a bad loss or a close win, or it's fucking another tough job.
What about? Do we think that there could be friction between Tyson? Seems to be doing everything else other than boxing the last couple of months. Maybe Ben Davison not too happy with that, or maybe not wanting to be like a circus travelling all around the US as part of the Tyson Fury PR show.
Yeah, but that's the deal. When they're paying you $90 million or whatever, you gotta try and get some numbers up, get your face out there.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing the camp. Is he not doing his camp? He's not doing it here. He's doing it in Marabella.
Is he dating Marbella? Is he?
I saw him put up his thing, and it said next stop Marabella or whatever. I know there's a thing. However the hell you say it, I know if you spend a certain amount of time here, it can take a lot more of your fucking money. Remember Pacquiao would leave and come back, and then he'd pay like the minimum tax on a big purse. So maybe that's what he's doing.
But I do know. I mean, I've got friends that go to Marbella. It's millionaire's paradise. But I mean, there's a lot of temptation there in Marbella, and I would think that Tyson Fury would be one of these people you really want to take him into a camp away from all the temptations. I think you're running a risk if you take Tyson Fury to Marbella. I think it's going to, as Riku was touching on with the motivation side, maybe if he's not learning for you, he needs to replace you, or if he's not picking up new techniques, he has to replace you. That's what keeps him motivated. But I mean, when you're in a place there where there's a lot of party atmosphere and there's drugs and that kicking about, I mean, I just don't see that as a kind of place. I know hundreds of fighters do it, but I mean, you're an elite level athlete. I don't know if it's the best place to go and do a camp.
Isn't that like the MTK? MTK facilities there, right? I think that's why he's going there. I mean, like, I don't know. You're in camp with Sugar Hill and Andy Lee. They don't strike me exactly as like party boys. So maybe good to have those guys around.
Yeah. And I have always had this feeling at this stage of Tyson Fury's career, he does what he wants, right? You can have whoever training him, you can have whoever telling him where the camp is, but he calls the shots because the reality is the money that he makes and will make from the Wilder fight, the trainer will take a few million off that, so you can probably tolerate not everything going your way at that stage. And maybe that's where the split with Ben Davidson happened, or maybe he wanted to change. But, I mean, Ben Davidson would have lost a lot of money due to this change.
Yeah, man, and especially, I mean, when you think of the times that he's been over there with... I Ben Davidson, for what he has, got a young family, so I can understand why if it's the logistical side, that it's probably cost him his client here, that he maybe doesn't want to go over to the US for 4 or 5 months, you know what I mean? But again, I just think I'm not sold anymore that Fury's heart's still in boxing anyway. So, I mean, we can't read into this too much because we really just don't know. Both of them says it was a split that was the best decision for themselves, you know what I mean? It was an amicable thing. But I'm still not sold
the
that
last
Fury...
thing to believe is what two people say. It's like when a couple breaks up and somebody says it was a mutual decision, you know that one of them's lying, right?
I mean, it saves everyone facing like a PR thing. Like obviously if you're a trainer, you don't want to come out. You've seen guys do it before, but it's definitely bad business to go out and be like, this guy's a lazy shit and he doesn't want to fucking work. And I can't work with a guy like him. So, you got next guy be like, I don't want this guy talking shit about me,
Yeah. There's some other news this week. It's about Mikey Garcia. He's now got to be fighting on DAZN. I think he's got a 1-fight deal with an option to fight again. He's going to be fighting on there against Jesse Vargas. Riku, we kind of I heard rumours it was maybe going to be Kell Brook was actually a name that I heard getting fired about for him. But I mean, Mikey Garcia is kind of paying off for him being this free agent.
Yeah, I mean, in this market, it massively pays off, but I don't see the logic for DAZN and having him for $7 million and Eddie Hearn signing him for one fight because, you know what, he could perform well and PBC could come back in and offer him silly money to fight against somebody else at 147 and there we are. He's the one that benefits, which is great to see fighters benefit. I've seen people speculating that what they're trying to do is try and get Pacquiao against Mikey Garcia fight in Saudi Arabia, and everybody gets rich. But yeah, it's a very odd move because the natural fight for him would be on DAZN if they could try and make Josh Taylor against Mikey Garcia or Prograis against Mikey Garcia, because those are fights that we want to see, but nobody cares about Jesse Vargas.
Yeah.
No one's going to care about Mikey Garcia after Jesse Vargas beats him. I saw the picture of the two of them the other day, and Vargas isn't a big fucking guy at all, and he's towering over him again. Like he said, Lomachenko bites off, a lot to chew. This guy, he's no business fighting at welterweight.
Is that you've been attacked by the dog there, Brendan? Yeah.
No, it wasn't mine. Mine was down here before. He's the one who went there. Woo!
Yeah, I don't know why Mikey's decided to stay up at welterweight. He was that out his depth against Errol Spence. That, I mean, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even.
I mean, Jesse Vargas isn't Errol Spence, but it's still a massive size reach advantage. And Jesse Vargas, he's not a bad fighter by any means. He's
I mean, Jesse Vargas can keep you at the end of a jab with the best of them, and if you're a wee totty guy like Mikey Garcia, then just try to get inside that jab when you're plodding. He looked heavy. I didn't think he looked... He carried the weight well at 147. I think he looks heavy. So even try to get inside Jesse Vargas to get it to work. Just all the work that you need to do just to be able to land your shots. It's just, he's not right being up there. And I think it's a bit of a waste, to be honest with you, because I like Mikey Garcia at 140. I think, I had him pound for pound at 140. Up at 147, I don't see it at all. It's far too far. And
he's
sorry.
He said before. Remember, he took like the hiatus when he was sitting out the top ranked contract. That he really doesn't like love boxing. He likes the money. Maybe this is like business. This like they're gonna pay me $7 million to fight fucking Jesse Vargas. I'll fight him at 147 for $7 million. You know, take a couple more fights like that and walk away.
Did you see that video of him driving around in a new Rolls Royce Phantom with his mates, showing the new car? So he's it goes to Brendan's point that he's already spending the money he's made from this. I mean, he's going to extract as much money from boxing as he can, and then he's out of there.
He's a weird dude. Last contract, he was like mad that he wasn't like the focal point of the promotion. Like if you sign a 1 or 2 fight deal, no one's gonna go all out for you. Like you're like a hired gun. We're gonna pay you a lot of money, but don't expect to be like the A side, and don't expect all the fucking attention. We're not putting any promotional muscle behind you. Why would I do that for one fight?
Yeah, and you can walk away. That's it.
Yeah.
What about the zone here? I mean, there's always been. I mean, we've always heard in the UK that Mikey Garcia does big numbers. But I've also heard other people say that Mikey Garcia's no as big a draw as what you would think he is. I think that sometimes the media make out that all these Mexican guys just tap into the Mexican market. And
exactly.
He's not Mexican either. He's an American.
Well, Mexican, but you get the Mexican heritage.
I mean, that makes a big difference for some of like the Mexican fans too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they never really embraced De La Hoya was never really embraced by Mexican people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if you look at the numbers that he did versus Spence versus what Porter did against Spence, they're more or less in line. So that indicates that Spence is the draw there. It indicates that Spence is the guy that Spence is the guy that's driving numbers rather than Mikey Garcia.
And the Fox went like you couldn't miss advertisements for those fights. I mean, it was on every football game, every time out. You were getting those fights rammed down your face, which is what you should do when you have that type of platform. If you want to promote a fight, and Fox did a very good job with that. Too.
I don't know. I might have went off track here because I don't think I've stayed to the schedule, but. Did we touch on Charlo Harrison?
We did not.
No. Right, well, while we're talking about Fox, that's going to be live on Fox. Let's go into that. I was watching the presser just before we come on air. It was a presser, I think it was for yesterday. And once again, Tony Harrison has got inside Charlo's head. He's far too quick-witted and quick on the tongue. And Charlo just looks to be... He struggles for his words sometimes. And I thought towards the end of the presser again, Charlo looks as if he's going into this fight, going to fight angry. Do you think that he's going to be able to pull this off? I'll go to Riku this time.
I think Tony Harrison's a good fighter, but I do think Charlo's just the better fighter of those two. And I think this time, if it's going to be a close fight, the judges' scorecards will be favouring Charlo.
Yeah. Brendan, how do you see this one going? Because this is quite intriguing. I mean, as I say, every time you see these two guys on stage, Harrison just rubs Charlo up the wrong way. And, I mean, if the fight's as good as the pressers, then we'll all be buzzing about it.
Yeah. I mean, Tony Harrison, like Riku said, he's good. I don't think he's like a special. Nothing special. I mean, we've seen him get drilled before, but I don't know. Maybe it could be he just has this fucking guy's number. He gets in his head. He's bothers him. He makes him forget the game plan and just try and take his fucking head off. And then he gets outboxed badly. But I kind of agree with Riku. If it's anywhere close, Uncle Al's going to make sure that the Charlo gets the W.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of time, promotion and hype been spent on Charlo. And if Charlo loses this fight, I don't see where he goes. If he loses twice to Tony Harrison, who's, what you would call a competent fighter, That really just puts that Charlo smoke out, doesn't it?
I don't like. They're already fighting for the small crowds. Like they don't really draw that much. I just feel like both of those brothers came in with like such a bang, and I was excited about them. And now I'm kind of like, they're fighting like average guys all the time, and I'm like, I really, I don't have to go out of my way to watch this fight Saturday night. If it's on, it's on. Plus they're going up against NFL football, so the numbers will be terrible, absolutely terrible, I'm sure.
Are they actually going up against it?
Yeah, now that college American football's over here, they've moved some NFL games to Saturday, and there's a game on at 8 o'clock at night. So anyone who's watching sports will be watching that. There'll be no casuals. It'll be like the hardcore fans only.
Yeah. So Riku, what do you think? Do you think Charlo loses this? He's pretty much that's time for him, really. Riku. Oh, Riku.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hello?
You were muted there. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's time for him. I think sometimes some fighters just have your number, and in low weight classes, he moves up to 160, maybe fights against someone else. He's still a draw, isn't he? So, I mean, in terms of boxing name, he's a name draw. Maybe he fights against someone else. I think he'll win this fight very comfortably, if I'm being honest.
Do you know, I've got this theory with both of the Charlos. I've got this theory that British boxing fans seem to be more hyped on them than what the American fans were. The American boxing fans, I'm kind of leaning over to what kind of American boxing fans have been saying for a good while, that these guys are not as good as what he's thinking. We were getting to see the highlight reels and getting to see wee clips here and there. But, I mean, I'm starting to really just go, do you know what? I was like, the stuff that the American guys have been saying for a while is that these guys might not be the real deal. I don't know. Brendan, you kind of feel that. I don't know, Riku, do you feel that?
Yeah, I just you're just like disappointed. I've just been disappointed at the level of competition. I can only see you flatten just like an average guy that you barely ever heard of before, coming up from welterweight to 154 so many times before I'm like, all right. Then you fight, Tony Harrison, who we said competent, decent. We're not calling him a bum by any means, but that's a guy you're supposed to steamroll too, and then you just got blatantly outboxed by him. I mean, maybe they're used to being fed cupcakes, and this is the result, and we can see it and turn it around on Saturday. We'll see. But, like I said, I'm not out on those guys, but it's certainly not Lions only anymore. It's been a bad year for Lions. Lions only, Lions in the camp. Maybe we should get sharks in the water or something. I don't know.
We need to call what's the animal animal rescue thing?
Worldwide, the ones who stole the WWF. Worldwide Foundation.
Yeah,
we got to protect the
exactly.
Lions. The Lions are endangered.
Exactly, they are endangered. Yeah, I think the Charlos have been built really well. They're your textbook example of how you build a fighter and you get hype around them. But perhaps we're finding out that they're not as good. But then again, the 160 Charlo, I can't say whether it's Jamal or Jamel. Who knows?
Jamel, I think he is. I think he's Jamel.
Yeah, I mean, 160 guy. Let's call him that. But if he doesn't come and fight against the guys on his own, him against Andrade, him against Canelo, him against Billy Joe Saunders, those are the fights that we should be seeing him fight against, because on that PBC side, there's no one for him to fight against. So, I'd be quite keen to see how good he actually is.
Yeah, and it's mad.
Supposedly, didn't Eddie offer up a big money purse for a one-fight deal between him and Andrade? And they'll probably turn it down, but he could go back to fighting Dennis Hogan and Brandon Adams and fucking Hugo Centeno and all those fucking killers, Yeah.
Didn't Dennis Hogan beat him?
No, he just iced Dennis Hogan last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, he did. Who did Dennis Hogan beat? Munguia?
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. I don't know how he got that fucking fight.
Exactly.
to Charlo's. Yeah, I wish they fight better guys, but what are you going to do? They can fight the Austin Trouts of the world 10 years after they're relevant.
Yeah, man, but let's move on to the awards news, because since it's the last show over the Christmas New Year period, we've decided today where we award shows tonight. We were Fighters of the Year, Fight of the Year, Round of the Year, Prospects of the Year, Breakthroughs, and stuff like that. So let's start with number one. Let's start with Riku again. Your Fighter of the Year, Riku.
No, I had to think long and hard between a few guys, just because I don't think there was a clear-cut enough guy to get the award, but for Fight of the Year, because what you really need to do is something really spectacular, but I settled on, do we have a drum roll or anything else? No. I settled on Scotland's very own Josh Taylor, because it was between him and Inoue, but I thought he beat a guy that he wasn't necessarily supposed to beat in Prograis. He won the World Boxing Super Series, and he also beat Baranchik, who was another undefeated guy, relatively highly rated. So I think he had two career-defining performances. He fought against the best they could fight in a year. So yes, he's my Fight of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good choice. I don't think there wasn't a lot to pick for you, and I've got a funny feeling that Brendan's either going to be the same as you or he's going to be the same as me. So Brendan, let's go with you.
That's the other one.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go with Mr. Mexican Beef himself, Canelo Alvarez. He beat Danny Jacobs, and when Danny Jacobs was highly rated middleweight, and then he went up to light heavyweight and beat the beer crusher, Sergey Kovalev. And I think anytime you're going to jump up a couple weight classes and win a title, that takes it for me.
Yeah,
I liked Inoue, and I enjoyed that. I thought Josh Taylor had a great year too, and I also thought late consideration for Manny now that he's all of a sudden back in miraculous shape, and magically.
Yeah. Age 41.
Age 41, moving around like he's 22.
Yeah, do you ever remember that water in the water boy that came for a glacier? That's what Manny bathes in. That's what keeps him so young and fit. So you've got Canelo. I mean, I'm a bit gutted because if we were going to be picking Canelo, I thought we would exclude Canelo because Canelo's the best fighter in every year that he fights in. So
yeah, if he's on the right diet, he is.
But my Fighter of the Year, as Riku says, it had to be Naoya Inoue. For me it was between him and Josh Taylor. Both of them quite similar. I got to see Inoue over here. He took care of, Ramirez, whatever, the Puerto Rican boy came over here. I think he was Puerto Rican. And then that fight with Nonito Donaire in the final where, he's got a broken orbital bone and, he's had to get into deep water to get the fight, to get the win, sorry. And, he had a bit of everything in the way. I don't know, you could just watch the guy fighting, he's got a bit of everything. And I thought that this year was the year when the world kind of learnt who Inoue was. And fantastic for the World Boxing Super Series because they've done the exact same with Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis. We've ended up with another two good stars in boxing, and we really need these stars to come through now because we've not really got a lot to choose for, especially here in the UK. We've not really got a lot to choose for anymore. So yeah, Naoya Inoue, and for pretty much all the same reasons as why Riku picked Josh Taylor, just the exact same. One sitting there, unified champion, won the World Boxing Super Series, dispatching other champions quite easily. He's my man. The next subject was going to be Fight of the Year. So we'll go with you this time, Brendan. What has been your Fight of the Year? What fight has got your pulse racing?
I really enjoyed the Josh Taylor Regis Prograis fight. It was just fought at like a high level. Two different styles, just if you like boxing, besides knockouts and all the violence. I mean, it was a violent fight anyway, but I thought it was just a high level fight between two guys at the best in the division, and that's the fight for me. I think clearly it was they're not like high drama, but a lot of drama. I thought the fight could have went either way. They're just two guys at the top of their game fighting their best, and really enjoyed that. And then my late the fight in Australia on Wednesday, I absolutely enjoyed the shit out of mid-level guys, nothing special, but really fucking throwing it down with Zafara and Jeff the Teacher Horn. So, for me it's definitely Prograis and Taylor fight of the year for me.
Yeah, Riku, what about you?
I'm going to go for a fight that happened a bit earlier this year, Errol Spence versus Porter. For a bit different reasons than Brendan. It was a skilled fight where two skillful welterweights fought, I wouldn't call it a technical fight. It was just very high intensity, lots of punching. It was just unbelievable how two guys had the stamina and the ability to compete at that level. So, yeah, that was a memorable fight.
Yep. For me, again, it had to be, I was unemployed, sitting there like a bum at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I think it was on a Thursday. And Nonito Donaire and Noyo Inoue Nonito Donaire back the years, as it says, my fighter of the year, water and come out and know fighter of the year. He get took into deep water and come out and know how to fight his way out it, and ended up such a fantastic fight. It was one of the fights that I will go back and watch probably for the rest of my life. I'll go back on YouTube and I'll watch it over and over. I'll never get bored of watching it. And that's been my fight of the year this year.
You can't. Those are all probably the three best fights of the year.
Yeah, definitely. I've got to admit though, the Josh Taylor Regis Prograis one. That was between that. It was between they two for me as well. And when you think about that fight, Prograis got after a better start, and then Josh kind of outworking him. It kind of looked like Prograis was gassed out. It looked as if he was spent, and then he just seemed to get a second wind, and then it looked as if Josh Taylor was the one that was struggling. It was brilliant how the pendulum and the momentum of the fight kept swinging from side to side, and it was brilliant to see. Both guys in that fight had to answer big questions as well.
Yeah, we actually had some good fights this year, and I was complaining, but
yeah, I think it's because we've not the blockbuster fights. I think that's it. It's been a year without blockbusters, but we've had good fights, good matchups. Well, next award would be the round of the year. For me, there's only one choice, and it's Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua. I think it was the third round. Both guys hitting the canvas. Things looked as if they might be going right for AJ, and very quickly turned very wrong for him. But it was like it's a classic round in heavyweight boxing. People will watch that forever. It'll go down in history, that round. What about you?
You took the exact one I was going to pick. Like you said, it's just it's like a Rocky movie round. Everyone's going down, people getting back up. Rocky movie round. Everyone's going down, people getting back up. Trading blows. By far for me, the round of the year. Riku, what do you got?
I have a bit of a different one, which is Inoue against Donaire, round 11. It was mainly because there were such swings of momentums where both guys were punching the living daylight out of each other, and you thought the fight was swinging one way or another. So that's my round of the year. I really enjoyed that fight as well. Steve was mentioning, and it was middle of the day. Great fight to watch, and that round 11 had me at the edge of my seat.
Yeah, it was a great round. Was it the 11th or the 10th round that Inoue?
Maybe it was 10 to 11, but people know which round I'm talking about.
The round that Donaire had to take the knee after the body shot? I think that was it's either the 10th or the 11th, but even seeing the pure warrior in Donaire, he bought himself a couple of extra seconds by turning and running away.
The guy with the samurai, the samurai headband and the suit at the background just added more to watching that.
Yeah, I love when those guys are there. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, recording the fight through a fucking iPad as well, This one's been a tough one. The next subject, it was a tough one for me because it's going to be the prospect of the year, right? So my two prospects of the year have picking up by hook or by crook world titles. My prospects were going to be either Teofimo Lopez or Devin Haney, but I mean they can't be classed as prospects anymore. So I'm going to go with you guys. I've already got mine picked, but I don't think any of you will have this guy anyway. So we'll go with you, Riku.
I've got it was firstly hard to decipher what's a prospect because Devin Haney got his world title in an email, so does that count? But I'm going to go for Virgil Ortiz. He's fought quite a few times this year. He beat Mauricio Herrera, Antonio Orozco, who's the guy that has fought against Jose Ramirez and others, and then Brad Solomon as well. So I think, as prospects go, this is a guy that's, he's 15-0, 15 knockouts. He's been active this year. He's a welterweight division. He's only 21 years old. Super exciting style. So I can't really think of a better prospect in the sport at the moment.
Is that Brendan's dog running a bit mad in the background?
Yeah, he's got his big sheep that squeaks and he wants to play. Sorry, guys.
I take it you get tiles or laminate flooring, Brendan?
I'm in the basement and it's like that fake wood flooring that are tiles.
Yeah. Who's been your prospect of the year?
It was going to be Devin Haney, but like Riku said, you can't call a prospect. You can't call a world champion a prospect, even though he's never had a championship fight. And then Riku stole my guy. So it's also Virgil Ortiz. I actually think he might be the best young guy we have in boxing. And they're shockingly, Golden Boy is actually building him the right way, taking on tough veterans. Maybe guys a little bit smaller. Brad Solomon hadn't fought in a while, but he's only 21 and he's only had 15 fights and he's stopping everybody. And I think he's just going to be fantastic. Old PBC has the stranglehold on all the belts, but I don't think he needs a world title fight, necessarily in his next year even. Yeah. But he's definitely a guy I want to keep my eye on, and he's very exciting and he's great to watch.
So as we said, Lopez and Haney, world champions now, so it rules them out, because we live in an age of prospect world champions, but we can't really accept it. You know what I mean? You're either a world champion or you're a prospect. You can't be the both. So I went with Lee McGregor, and even though I think the Lee McGregor got a wee bit of a gift against Cash Farouk the other week, Lee McGregor has become the British champion and the Commonwealth champion inside 8 fights. That for me is that's a fantastic achievement. That's a great achievement, and I don't see many people kind of achieving that inside that distance again, or for a long time anyway. The boy's got pedigrees, got a bit of everything. He was a good amateur. That's just pretty much that's what I come up with, because I mean the kind of more famous ones have ruled themselves out. And Virgil Ortiz is kind of, he kind of steals it, to be honest with you. But I thought I would at least get one Scottish guy in.
I don't know. I thought he lost that. I watched that fight, and I don't see how he won that fight. I still don't see it. But, him being the name, being with whoever he's with, and like you had said, Cash Farouk was fighting pretty much with just like an amateur boxing club, and you could see how you could get jobs in that situation. But I think both of those guys will have a big future, especially in the UK boxing scene.
Well, I don't think that we'll see the rematch anyway, because if we do, it'll probably be on a Matchroom show, and it would go against it. It'll be Cash, because Cash is signed with Matchroom now, and
yeah, good for him. Happy for him. Good for him. He looked great. He looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed by him.
And that leads me on to the next one, and the breakthrough performance, and I thought it was Cash Farouk in that fight against Lee McGregor, which is quite contradictory if I'm saying prospect of the year is Lee McGregor, but what he's achieved is an achievement. But that breakthrough performance, even though Cash lost that fight, in Scotland he was a kept secret. He was a bit of a secret. Now since that fight, everybody watched that fight. That fight, I went on the next morning after I was at that event, and I went and watched it on YouTube the next morning, and already it had like 140,000 views just overnight, and you're sitting and going, that's exposure Cash hadn't had before, and I thought that performance has got my big deal with Matchroom, and I think that now we'll actually see Scotland. We'll probably see that'll be Matchroom's next start to build in Scotland, because since Ricky Burns has took a step back, they've kind of had a void left up here, because Josh Taylor fights for Cyclone, and Matchroom's no really. As a matter of fact, Matchroom's not been in Scotland for a good while now. It must be at least 2 years now for we've had a Matchroom event in Scotland. So
Josh Taylor hasn't signed for Matchroom yet, has he?
No, I think Josh Taylor's still with the McGuigan. I think Josh is still with the McGuigans.
I can't see it lasting much longer.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be out of business soon.
Yeah, we pricks.
We pricks. Right, guys, Riku, your breakthrough performance of the year?
I'm going to have to go with Teofimo Lopez against Richard Commey, just because we always knew that he was good, but the way he dispatched of Richard Commey was just sensational, and that to me is sort of, that puts him at a different level, and that's sort of my breakthrough performance. The other one I was thinking of was Andy Ruiz against Joshua, but you can't really call that breakthrough performance when you lose the next fight. It's more like a fluke.
Yeah, I would agree with Teofimo Lopez. That was one that was the other one that I was actually thinking about. Was Teofimo Lopez, because you're going for a guy who's maybe classed as a prospect one day, to the next day you've got me and you who now think that there's a good chance that he could beat Lomachenko. That's what you call a breakthrough performance. They don't come much better than that.
Exactly.
That was my breakthrough performance as well. You got a seasoned world champion and known as a tough guy, and you ice him in 2 rounds to actually take a belt from a champion that we're seeing guys get championship belts by post offices and emails, and set himself up on a big stage. He's got a big fight coming, I guess, if they work it out with Lomachenko, and definitely my breakthrough performance of the year as well.
And the next and final award is going to be for the best card of the year. Brendan,
we forgot knockout of the year too.
Oh, knockout of the year, but we'll go for that after this. And right, we'll go with the best card of the year.
I didn't do too much research into this one, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I went for the Pacquiao Broner card, because that had Ubali versus Rashi Warren on the undercard, and Marcus Brown against Badu Jack. So I thought that was quite a good card.
I've got
the other card I was thinking about was the Taylor Prograis card. You had Chisora against Price. From a British perspective, that's quite interesting. Lawrence Okoli, big minus for the card. Shannon Courtney, another big minus for the card. But yeah, there's a few good matchups on that card.
Well, I thought for me it was a card that I attended as well, but I'm actually starting to think now that maybe this was last year, because the World Boxing Super Series went on for so long, and it was the Inoue, Ramirez and Taylor Baranchik card.
Oh, it was this year. It was this year.
Yeah. Just making sure, because it must have been at the start of the year. I was questioning myself, but that was fantastic. Seeing that level of boxers coming to your hometown. You know what I mean? I loved that card, and in both fights didn't disappoint in their own way. When you went out there and absolutely dispatched the Ramirez. It was you could tell Ramirez is a good fighter. Is it Ramirez? It is Ramirez, isn't it? You can tell
Edwin Ramirez.
Yeah, you can tell he's a good fighter. He was trying stuff, but everything he tried, Inoue just was quicker, faster, and harder at the same thing. It just kind of broke him down, and You know, it was brilliant. And then when we seen Taylor Baranchik come in there, you know, and he wasn't giving that title up to Taylor, you know what I mean? He made Josh work for it. So, I love that card. I mean, don't get me wrong, the rest of the undercard had, like, you know, 6 rounders on it and stuff like that. But when you've got operators like that, as a main and co-main, I mean, it doesn't come much better than that. I'll probably never see anything like that again in Glasgow, to be honest.
Probably, yeah. To be honest.
Sorry, here you go, Brendan.
Yeah, I didn't really do too much research. That card you described sounds really good, Steve. But I also like, it didn't happen yet, but I hate doing that. I like the Tank Davis card, shockingly. They lined up a bunch of good fights on this card coming up.
Yeah, that's a good card.
So I'm gonna give that my card of the year without it even happening yet. I'm gonna predict the future, say it's gonna be a very enjoyable Saturday evening.
Is that next Saturday?
Yeah, the 29th.
Yeah. I've actually, do you know what, I've kind of, because I've had so much on now, I've got gigs coming up, I've been rehearsing, I've not really been keeping an eye on many things boxing now, I've got that much stuff coming up, so I'm actually looking forward to January and getting back to work and things getting back into my usual routine. I'm the only guy that finishes up for 2 weeks and looks forward to getting back to his work, to getting back into a routine. That makes me a fucking weirdo.
You need more friends, mate. You need more hobbies.
I don't think you had enough time off this year, you know? Maybe you could, you know.
That's it. I just had 2 months with just sitting in my arse, doing nothing.
Should we do a special award as well? Shout out to Dean White for being the media character of the year. This man single-handedly stopped a terrorist attack on a plane, and also he's been on every single media platform, every single IFL video on a weekly basis. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone from MI6 is listening, I mean, can we get this guy a job? You know. I mean, he's such a good character, like Baby Ting. That guy's awesome.
He got to meet you, didn't he, Brendan? When we all went to Lomachenko.
Big fan of New York. He told me. I'm a big fan of Dean White stuff.
Good stuff, man.
He's like my brother from another mother from his other brother from another mother.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he's probably got Irish blood in there somewhere, you know.
I also love the fact every interview that's done by him, they always say, "So you're bro Dillian," whereas everybody just knows it's lies. Like nobody ever knows him. So Dillian, they always highlight the fact your brother Dillian.
They, that's a big dude to say it isn't to, you know. Let's see, he's got the
you don't need to say it isn't, but you know what, Lee Foch, nobody went, your brother Carl. They just said, we've got Lee Foch here. How's Carl feeling? You don't need to say your brother Carl.
Oh man.
And we'll just finish up with, a matter of fact, we had two other awards. I remember you threw another one in the chat, so we'll go with the KO of the year. We'll go with Riku because I've not really had a chance to think about this.
Wasn't how he dispatched of Ramirez, wasn't that quite brutal?
Yeah.
I'll give it to that.
I'm gonna roll with the Bomb Squad. Take a pick, either one, Howie. I'm gonna roll with the Bomb Squad. Take your pick, either one. How he fucking folded. What's his name? Brazil folded like a cheap suit. And the Luis Ortiz.
The KO.
And he also absolutely just destroyed Luis Ortiz too. But the Brazil one. I mean, there's levels to the divisions, but that guy just. I thought his soul floating above his body for a few seconds there.
Yeah, I have to kind of get my man in at least once the night, so I'm going to go Canelo against Kovalev, and he left him kind of hanging over the ropes. You know, everybody was saying, you know, you seen all these psychopaths on Twitter saying, I mean, he's took a dive there, and then you watch and you go, he's just took fucking 3 clean shots. You know, the poor guy didn't even have a chance to defend himself with the last one. And, you know, you just, at that point, you just seen that it's like Kovalev's mind's like that, just concentrating, staying on these ropes. Don't even try and work their legs just now, you know, give him another 10 minutes rest and we'll just like kind of hook over the ropes. I loved that KO, that was a cracker.
Yeah, it looked like me last night, probably.
That's what I was thinking. That's Colo every Saturday night, I imagine.
Yeah, laying out in the bushes in someone's house.
Yeah.
That's what Buddy McGurk gets him in the morning. Just goes straight into the toilet, and that's how he's hanging over the toilet bowl.
Oh, man.
But, guys, we've actually covered quite a lot today, and I've got my housework to get done before my wife gets home from work, since we've been on early today, and I've been a lazy sod. So, thanks very much for coming on, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas when it comes along.
You too, mate.
You too, guys.
Merry Christmas to all the listeners, more importantly. And thank you for supporting us throughout 2019.
Yeah, man, and if you want to come and see me make an arse of myself singing, I'll be in Whiskey Joe's in Paisley. But thanks very much, guys. It's been great. It's been a good year. It's been good getting back into it. And as I said, not unless we want to get back on for the Tank Davis card, but things are a bit hectic that time of year. But we'll see if we can get matching up and our diaries match up, and we can get back on and maybe do a quick pod.
We could do a year preview after the new year starts or whatever. What we want to see, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's probably best, mate. Yeah, that's probably the better. Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, no problem. But thanks everybody. Cheers for listening, and goodbye.